Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry it's been quite a while. I was sick with the stomach bug. I started that new job. Just been really busy. I'm gonna kind of bring you probably a pretty lengthy video today. I want to talk about the first 20 tools that I think any person should have or buy. This is gonna be hand tools. I'm not talking about shovels or floor jacks to work on your car or any other lawn tools or big stuff. There's gonna be one power tool, as you can already see. But other than that, this is the first 20 tools that I think that everyone, as a homeowner, as a kid growing up, whatever, should own. In no particular order, because it'd be way too hard for me to rank these 1 through 20. I'm just going to kind of start off. I'm going to start at 20 and work my way to number 1. So number 20, I was actually kind of running out of ideas. So this is the last one I put on my list, but the first one you're seeing today is the pipe wrench. This guy, I'm not exactly sure what the range is. We're going to see in a second here, but something over 2 inches. I think 2.5 inches is what I'm seeing there. So you can get something quite large inside of this. This can help you take a trailer ball off. This can obviously help you turn pipes. Or anything that's large that needs some serious persuasion. You could even use this as a hammer in desperate times. This is a tool that's good to keep in the bottom of your toolbox. Probably won't use it very often, but once or twice or 5 times a year. But when you need it, you're gonna need it and you're gonna be thankful you had it. So the pipe wrench, number 20. You can have these at Home Depot, Harbor Freight, whatever. I don't think that you need anything special if you're gonna be using it every day. An aluminum one from Rigid or something would be worth it, but this is the one that I own. I've used it like 3 times in my entire life. I've never really needed it, and I own a house and I've done tens of thousands of dollars worth of renovations on it. I work in the trades for a living, so this isn't something I use a lot, but if you need it, you need it, and you're gonna want to have it. Okay, number 19. I put scraping tools on there. I actually realized I forgot to grab one of the other tools I wanted to show, but that's okay. This is perfect for pulling up staples. Now, why I'm including this guy with the scraping is if you're gonna rip carpet out of your house, you're gonna wanna have one of these. I bought this at Home Depot when I ripped the carpet out of my house. I bought 2 of them, and basically it lets you, see if I can show this with my hand, lets you get underneath the staple and then pry up, and there is no better tool for it than this. I think this was like maybe $10, maybe $15 if I'm really, pushing it. But this was a lifesaver. It really saved a lot of time than trying to use a screwdriver or a pair of needle nose or something else. And then the painter's multi-tool. I think that this is historically known as a 5-in-1. This one has some extra features, so I think for some reason this was called like a 10 or 11-in-1. But as you can tell, I've done a lot of beating on the end of this. It lets you get into places. You can use this to pry off trim boards. You can cut down seams of caulk, opening paint cans. You can use this to pull nails out of the wall. This is like the ultimate tool for anything wall related in your house. So trim work, taking nails out, painting, whatever. You're gonna want to have one of these. And I like the stiff ones. You can also get like a flat or a flexible scraper, which you'd use for like spackling your walls to cover up nail holes and what have you. But scraper tools, number 19 on the list, definitely a must-have if you're a homeowner or just going to be doing any basic renovations of your house. This one I haven't really had my whole life, and I'm glad that I've recently discovered that these are helpful. Heavy duty scissors, number 18 on the list. And I got the Milwaukee's here. I like this flat angle. It lets you kind of cut along the surface, as you can see, like this. These are nice to not be ruining your kitchen scissors. So if you're gonna do anything, I don't know, cutting open packages at Christmas time or anything that's kind of harsh on scissors, it's nice to have something that's made for that versus the ones that are made to cut open plastic bags in your kitchen or trim meat or whatever you might be doing with those scissors. So it's a good idea to have the right tool for the right job. I like having heavy duty scissors for that reason. Not much more to say about it. You can get Milwaukee's. Here's a pair of Pliers. These are a little smaller, but they're pretty heavy duty. Engineer makes those, I think is the name of the company, and Vampire rebrands them. And I also have these Harbor Freight ones, which actually are pretty great. So something like this, these were like $5 or $6. These are probably looking more to 15 to 20. Those Pliers are probably up near 30. So heavy duty scissors, number 18. Not much more to say, but good idea to have them. Okay, number 17, picks and awls. I love this specific awl. It's one of my favorite tools, actually. I don't really know why. Probably the wooden handle. The tip stays very sharp. You're gonna find that you're gonna use a screwdriver to poke holes in things, and if you have this right tool, or you can mark stuff with this, you know, where you want to hang a picture, you can just put a dot in the wall, or even put a hole real quick just where you want to start a nail in the wall. There's all sorts of reasons you want to have some kind of scratch awl like this, just poking, prodding, getting into little things. And that's the same reason you're going to want to have picks. One of my picks is missing here. There's one that's like a perfect right angle. This is like at a 45. There's some that are right at a right angle, but that lives with my chainsaw kit. So I've got these three here, but you're going to find a reason to need these. I can't necessarily call them out right this second, but you can have these for less than $10, especially you go to Harbor Freight. If I was prepared, I would have showed you. I got the orange set that they sell. They're $2, and they'll replace them if you break them for their entire life. So foolish not to go buy those. Picks, awls, anything pokey, scratchy, you're going to want to have it. And that's why it's number 17 on my list. Okay, this one was kind of hard to pick a way I wanted to go with it, but I think I've decided on the ball-ended L wrenches for hex keys. So you're going to want to have inch, and you're going to want to have millimeter. If you can only have one right away, get the millimeter. You're going to want these to set up furniture. IKEA furniture, stuff you order on Amazon, Walmart, any of that like not super high-end, and some of the high-end stuff uses hex keys or hex bolts to hold their fasteners together. And a lot of time you're going to see a 4mm, 4.5, or 5. That's just kind of the way it is. I like these. These aren't what I use because I have other options, but this, if you're going to start out, you want to buy the regular L keys, and these are cheap. You can get the two of these for like 10, 15 bucks. But you want the ones with the ball ends. This allows you to, see if I can get one out and I'll just show you. Let's use the big one. This allows you to get into something at an angle. So let's say you needed to be straight into it like this with the regular end. You would be able to get in kind of at an angle like this and still turn that fastener because there has this ball shape on it. You want to have that, and the reason that it's on the longer end is so that you can't put a lot of torque on it when you are at an angle. That'll keep it from rounding out or stripping out the head of that fastener. When you really need to break something free, you put in the bigger side and you can crank on it this way, and then once it's broke loose, you kind of go in and you can twirl it out. Because I have better options for most of the times, there's sometimes you can't get by without using an L key, so it's good to have these. This is the first set I'd buy. It's not always the best one to use, but this is the first one you'd buy. I'll just show you some other options I've got sitting over here on my bench. I'm just gonna grab one, but I've got all three of these sets. It's these THandles. They kind of look like this. This allows you to put a lot of torque on it, and if I'm gonna be doing something on the bench top, this is what I'm grabbing for. So this is the SAE set, or the inch set. I do have the metric and Torx set over there, but these THandles are super handy, and they're great. You can also get sockets that have hex shape drivers on them. And sometimes I'll use those, sometimes I use these. So here's an example of those I can show you. So there's a hex, or a socket with those hex drivers on the end. But sometimes you want to use that, sometimes you need these, but really those will help you in 99% of the situations that you're going to come across. It just might not be the fastest or most comfortable way to do something. This video is going to be half an hour long, it seems like. Okay, so that was number 16, hex keys. This one should be quick. A level. This is pretty self-explanatory. And a lot of people know what this is, even if they aren't tool people. I'm assuming you're watching this. Well, you might be a tool person if you're watching this just to see what I have to say. But if you're a first-time tool buyer, this is something you're going to need to have to hang up pictures, to mount your TV on the wall. XYZ, you need a level. And I recommend these torpedo levels. If you look at Home Depot, Empire is kind of the brand that they sell mainly there. You'll see this style, and you'll also see this style. And while these are nearly identical, for me, for my money, I want to spend a couple extra bucks for this one. It's got the full metal I-beam going through it. So if I drop this, I feel a little more confident that this is going to hold up as opposed to the one with the plastic ends. It just kind of makes me worry that this will lose its levelness. I don't know what exactly the term is, but either one's fine. You can have like 2 of these for 10 bucks during Christmas time. This is probably 15. But you like the ones with the magnet. You can flip it over. You don't have to use the magnets. These have a groove, so you can set them on a pipe if need be. And then the magnet's handy. You can stick it onto something and it'll show you what's level. But this lets you level something horizontally flat like this. You can also do it vertical and see this level here, this level bubble. And if you don't know how a level works, you're looking for that bubble to be perfectly centered between those 2 lines, and that's when you know something is completely flat or level. You might need, or might find that you want a longer level. A hack for that is to get a flat piece of wood, and you could set this on top of that and then run the length of wood across, and then you'll know that this is riding on that piece of wood. It won't be the most accurate over a distance because this isn't as long, but it'll get by and you'll be able to do 99% of the things you need to do. So that was number 15 on the list, level. Okay, so something that I don't particularly like, because this is 95% of what I do at work, is work on small fasteners, because I'm in the controls, building automation controls industry. But a small screwdriver, this is number 14 on my list. You're gonna need this. You're gonna need to work on some eyeglasses. You're gonna wish you had this. This is a Torx on the end there. All different sizes of flats, Phillips. That's a nut driver. I'm not exactly sure the size. Another flat, another Phillips, nut driver end. There's another nut driver end right there, so that's for really small nuts. This has Torx on this end, different size Torx bits. Sorry, this focus is not the best. And then another nut driver. But you're gonna need this, and why I'm including this, the first thing that came to my mind was your thermostat's quite important in your house, and you're gonna wanna be able to fix it if something goes wrong. And this allows you, you're probably gonna have flat and or Phillips screws on your thermostat, but you're going to be able to get in and turn those screws to change wires, replace the thermostat if need be. Because if your thermostat goes down, you're going to be cold or you're going to be hot and you're going to wish you had it. So that's why I put this on the list at number 14. Small screwdriver. This is from Klein. Picked this up at Home Depot. This has multi-bits in it. I don't like these for everyday use, but this is the best to have in a toolkit that isn't super complicated and doesn't have a ton of parts, because the only reason I don't like these is because sometimes these bits fall out, and if you're not careful, you lose them. So if you're working on a construction site, one of those little bits falls out, you're never going to find it. But they have stuff like this. I don't really use this. It just sits on my bench top, but here's an Irwin set of, they're just single blades. And you can see, sorry about the focus, I don't know why it's so bad. You can see the blades on those are just single, they don't remove, but you can get sets like this. Whatever you find at the store and whatever you think you're gonna like, but this is good multi-driver to have. Yeah, so that's number 14 on the list. Okay, 13. Talking about lights, flashlights, and work lights. Primarily, number one thing I'm buying is a rechargeable. So this is from Olight Seeker 2. This basically has a little charger piece that snaps on the back with a magnet and charges through here. This has a big rechargeable battery inside of it. It has an O-ring, keep this water resistant. I don't want to say waterproof, but water resistant. And then this has a really bright light. This lights up my whole yard. This is the one I use in the house all the time. So if I need something, this is the first one I'm grabbing for. And this is the first one I think you should buy. If your power goes out, you're going to want to have something to light up your house, or to find the breakers that popped, or whatever it might be. You want to know where your flashlight is. So keep it in the bedstand or keep it by the door. Make sure you know where this is, and that's one of the number one things you're going to want to have in your house. An honorable mention and something you should consider, I would not just have one and have it only be rechargeable. If anything, I'd have one and probably make sure it had replaceable batteries. I have a rechargeable battery in this, but this just takes a single AA battery, slides in, it screws down, and then it just has a tail cap to light up an area. Something like this is like $20. This is also an Olight. This is the i5T. Look these up on Amazon. It's worth buying or having something similar. You want to have a flashlight inside your house or on your kit. Power goes out, like I said, you want to know where this is and want to be able to get around the house. Everybody has an iPhone or a smartphone with a flashlight, but nothing replaces having a good actual flashlight in your hand. And then I want to say something else that you should consider buying is a work light. This is just what I'm using for this demonstration, but there's all sorts of shapes and sizes. I would get a rechargeable one, especially for a work light, but this has a button, different brightness settings. This one also allows me to recharge my phone from it. It's got a little USB port there, but I don't really care about that. Has a magnet on the back. I use this a lot. I have two of these. I have one for work that I use at least 3 days a week, and then this one I keep around the house. But you can put it on magnet to the roof of the car. You can look in the engine bay. You can use this in a crawl space in your attic, whatever. This will light up a good area and allow you to get a lot of work done. So I would consider having a work light. And I'll just show you that we are going to talk about that drill in a minute, but I would have something in the same battery system. If you are going to get one that runs off of a tool battery system, make sure it's the same battery system as your drill. Not necessarily has to be Milwaukee, but I do like their M12 line, and I would recommend it. But another one, just an honorable mention, I just noticed out of the corner of my eye, I have this stuck to my vise. This is from Harbor Freight, and here's another one that gives you those options, and allows you to light up a good area. Okay, so that's the work light. All right, number 12. So that was number 13. Number 12. This one's kind of difficult to just pick one. So I'm probably not going to just pick one, but we're going to talk about multimeters and electrical testing tools. For the basic homeowner, I'm honestly thinking this is going to be my recommendation. So the inside here is the Fluke 101. And why I'm recommending this is I trust Fluke. I would only recommend things I trust to somebody when they're dealing with something that could potentially kill them, such as electricity. So this guy comes from a really trustable name, Fluke. It comes with this. It does not come with that little case. This case is like $10 on Amazon, and it's made by some other brand, not Fluke. But this was $50. And to get name brand in a multimeter to test electrical, that's kind of a no-brainer. So probably this is going to be my number one recommendation for all things. This will allow you to work on your car. This will allow you to work on your house electrical. So AC power, alternating current is kind of what you're going to have in your house. It is what you're going to have in your house. So this would allow you to test the outlets of power. I'm not teaching a course right now, so if you plan to use one of these and stick these probes into an outlet, you better know what you're doing, and I'm not the one that told you how to do it properly. So please, please, please learn from a professional, or take a little bit of time to read the instructions on how to use this thing safely and properly. Anyways, alternating current will allow you to test the voltage in your house outlets, see if there's power on something. You can test from hot to neutral. You can test from hot to ground, neutral to ground, just testing things to make sure that you know what you're working on, and if you're going to replace a light fixture or something, that it does or does not have power on it at any given time. DC voltage, direct current, This is going to be what you're going to find in your car, 12 volts. And this is kind of what powers your cell phone and all of those electronics, is digital or direct current. This is nice that this has that capability of doing that as well. And then the final one that's kind of important, or the most important, I would say, is continuity. This allows you to, I believe this is the one. So you hear that tone, that means that these are in connection, that there is continuity between these two probes. So when you're testing an electrical circuit, you want to see if something's shorted out. You could see if it's got continuity to ground, or you could see where a wire runs by shorting out, making sure there's no power on it, but shorting two wires together, and then at the other end you can see if it's got continuity, and then keep your probes there and then change something. So open that circuit that you shorted together and see if it no longer has continuity. That's something I do a lot in my job, working in building automation controls, testing where wires run, making sure I know which wire is which. Anyways, kind of getting down the rabbit hole of explaining too much of this, but the multimeter allows you to work on the electrical system. This is a very basic one, but for $50 and for how small it is, this is pretty awesome. I really like this. I would definitely recommend this. I bought one and I keep it in my travel kit when I'm working to help somebody, just because it's nice and small. Then you're also going to hear about these non-contact voltage testers. This basically means I don't have to stick metal onto the conductor to know if there's power or not. So to show you an example of that, this black wire is going to be the hot wire. This lights up. I think you can see this. This lights up when it knows that there's power there, current on that. These are something you probably shouldn't test or trust. Sometimes they go bad. If you're gonna buy one, buy a Fluke, maybe a Klein. I don't really like the Kleins. I had one explode in my hand. The battery inside of it, for whatever reason, circuitry melted it and it ended up exploding. I trust these Flukes. I'm not sure if this has a part number on it, but the Fluke ones, this is about $30, $35. I use this a lot when doing lights, but make sure that you test this on a known circuit, and I do believe that this says that on here somewhere. So like I just showed you, I know that has power on it, so I just showed you that this lit up when it was on there. Then when you go to test if there's power somewhere else and it doesn't light up, you're 95% confident that there's no power on that. I don't trust these 1000%, but if I think I know how circuits run and I just want to use this quick to just double check that something's off, then I'll do that. So this is a good 1-2 punch. You want to have this and maybe a multimeter. This is a little more complicated of a multimeter, gives you a few more options. I don't really use this one. This was a work provided one a long time ago, and it kind of sits on my bench top and is my bench testing multimeter. I use a bigger one and a better one in my day-to-day job. And then I do like this one. I think this is a good one to have. Kind of keeps you a little safer. It allows you to put one of your probes, let's see if I can get it in there, on the end like this, and this one shows auto detection, so you don't even have to pick AC or DC. It'll just show you if there is or isn't power. What's nice about this guy is you can do this, and then if something happens, you got this whole plastic barrier between you and the power to help you stay safe. And I do like that for that purpose. Another really cool thing about this is it'll let you test amps. So you can put a wire, which is exactly why I have this plug that sits here with 3 different wires. I can use this to go in between here, and because this wire is run through this yoke here, I think you can see that, it will tell me how many amps are getting pulled through there. So if I have this on this setting, this will show me how many amps are on there. If I was prepared, I would have showed you something, but right now it's just showing just 1/10 of an amp, and that's just because it's plugged in. But if I put a load on the other side of that, you would see that go up to however many amps that load was pulling in. I think this might end up having to be 2 videos. I'm gonna be half an hour and only have 10. So multimeter that was number 12. So we'll set those aside for now. My number, let's see, number 11, needle nose pliers. I want to kind of talk about 11 and 10 together. And we'll see. Maybe that'll be one video, and then we'll do another for the next 10. Needle nose pliers. So my number 10 was wire strippers, and that's something that you use to strip wire, wire strippers. But I do like the idea of combining those, and this is one of my favorite tools. This Milwaukee combination plier is a needle nose and a wire stripper and a cable cutter and whatchamacallit, screw cutter. So you can put screws in there, cut screws. Don't really care about that for what we're talking about today, but this does have a needle nose end on it and allows you to grab things. And then this has wire stripping capabilities from 8 gauge solid to 18 gauge solid, 20 gauge stranded to 10 gauge stranded. So I do like these. This is kind of my number 10 and 11, but we're going to break it up, and I'll just show you the two different things you can get here. So if you want to have just needle nose, typically they're going to have a cutter inside them, which is fine and good. I like this Weha set. They're smaller, and they're like buttery smooth, which you don't really get a lot with a lot of tools. They're also filthy. I apologize. And here's a set of Kleins. I think these are called like their heavy duty needle nose, and you can just tell they're much more stout in the tip. They feel that way. This feels like a serious tool. This is a lot thinner. You can just see that. I'm sorry about the focus, it's really bad. You can just see that there. But you're gonna want to use these to grab at little things. You're just gonna need them. I can't say enough instances when I've used them. You can tell they've been used. You can tell these have been used. These just live at my house too, and they've been used like this. So you're just gonna need them. Needle nose pliers, and then wire strippers. I'm not recommending people start screwing around with electrical, but in times of desperate needs, you're gonna want to have something to strip wire. I am recommending these Kleins for one reason, the 1019s, and that's because they have a ton of capabilities. This can let you do all the way from 10 gauge, which is what you're going to find on your 240 circuits in your house likely, all the way up to 28 gauge, which is smaller than thermostat wire. So you're not going to see anything in your house, very unlikely anyways, other than maybe telephone line that you can't strip with this. And then this also has crimping capabilities, which you don't really need to worry about if you're just buying your first 20 tools. But wire strippers, that's number 10. But like I said, if I could only have one and money was tight, I'm buying these. I think that these are a good supplemental purchase. Being combinations like this, you have that needle nose and you have that wire stripping capability. But as you build out your kit, why not have separate ones? Let's wrap this video here. I guess we're doing part 1, part 2. So that's 20 through 10, I guess. So we're only gonna have 9 in the next video, but maybe I'll throw in an honorable mention. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. Let me know your recommendations, and you can kind of see where we're headed with the rest of this series here. But if you think I'm missing something, watch the next video, see if it's in that one, and if it's not, let me know that I'm missing it, and we'll add it to the list. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Leave your comments, like if you can. See you guys in the next video.